Welcome to the School of Love, the place where miracles are normal. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the School of Love, the place where we learn practical tools based on scientific research and our own experience towards improving ourselves, living life to its fullest, and contributing to the best of our abilities to the world around us. I am Dr. Maria Grajdian, and I am a professor of media studies and anthropology at Hiroshima University. In my free time, I am doing my best to guide you in building up a life of contentment, joy, and fulfillment while applying lessons learned in school to overcome the difficulties, challenges, and insecurities of the real world. In today's video, I explain the process of learning to develop listening skills at a deep level and beyond the classical statements which focus on immediate superficial results. In this video, I'll start with the definition of listening as an active process and with some signs to identify whether you practice active listening or not. And then I'll describe 10 guidelines on starting to practice deep active listening with kindness and compassion. But now, first things first, that is two important disclaimers. The first disclaimer serves to strongly emphasize the fact that this YouTube channel, The School of Love, is not part of my educational and research activities at Hiroshima University. It is nonetheless part of my privilege, joy, and sense of duty to propagate and implement knowledge, information, as well as motivation and inspiration outside the limited framework of academic endeavors. Together, we can build up a better tomorrow for as many of us as possible. The second disclaimer relates to the fact that I am a trained musician and musicologist, not a psychologist, therapist, or counselor. The ideas I am sharing in my videos reflect my deep-going preoccupation with life, my own life and the life of other people, and express the results of my experiences, research, and, for better or for worse, my failures, as well as my recovery from those failures, recovery which is still ongoing. The ideas expressed in the videos on this channel named The School of Love cannot and may not and must not replace the consultation with specialists in whichever areas of your life you might have questions or you might struggle with. If you are new to the channel, at this moment I would like to ask you to please consider subscribing, sharing, liking, commenting. Thank you very, very much. This helps us not only with that mysterious algorithm, which seems to dominate the YouTube galaxy, but also with contributing to the expansion of the community of humans doing their best to impact positively the world and those around them by discovering their authentic selves and living life wholeheartedly. Thanks again. And now back to today's topic, which is how to develop listening skills, and that is active listening skills. So what is listening? What is listening? What is active listening? So this is the ability to listen to others, to someone or to someone else, to some other person, without thinking about giving an answer properly, without thinking of replying. Just listen to them and try to understand beneath the words. Try to understand what they are, the emotions. Try to understand their experience from their perspective. And the main benefit of this is that, of course, you will have deeper relationships with people who will be happy to be around you rather than just being around you because they have no other choice or because they're lonely or because, well, I don't know, they just need to do something with their time. So this is one benefit. The other benefit is the fact that, or advantage is that you will encourage the same attitude in others, which again contributes to making the world a better place. If more people would listen to each other, like in a compassionate manner, right? In a manner which tries to understand the other rather than is looking for a smart answer. That the world would be a quieter place, I believe. I'm still working on this one. So, and the first step in acquiring this skill, which is a superpower, I always say, listening, active listening, compassionate listening, non-judgmental listening is a superpower by all stretches of imagination, In order to develop this superpower, the first step is, of course, awareness, knowing that this is a superpower, knowing that this superpower exists in the first place, and that it is as simple as listening, and listening carefully, listening compassionately. And then again, from this awareness, knowing that this exists, then you can transfer the next step, the next logical step is to transfer it upon oneself. So developing self-awareness related to listening. And then of course you'll wonder, so am I actually listening to others, or am I just keeping my mouth shut while they're speaking, so that, and actually thinking about a smart answer, a smart response, which is not so much related to what they say, but actually to me, myself, trying to present myself in a specific light. So this is the difference between regular listening, which most of us or all of us are practicing, and active listening, compassionate listening, is that we listen for the sake of the other person. This is the compassionate, this is the new type, this is a superpower as listening. While in other types of listening, we're listening so that we can reply to what they are saying. And so we have awareness as of the phenomenon, generally speaking, and then self-awareness, how it applies to us or how it doesn't apply to us. The third step is to always is very important. Once you have this self-awareness, which results from awareness, a general sense of awareness, the third step is always to see how it fits into your time and into your specific geographical position, location, because you don't want to develop some skills or to develop a mindset which clashes against the prevailing rules and regulations or prevailing standards in the world you are living, temporally and spatially. It's one thing to know things exist, and it's a different thing to apply them as such into your own life. So, and what this means is, it also means that you will learn to adapt the principle to your present, to your current, and to your potential reality. So listening is actually always good, but there are times when we have to stand up for ourselves and for the others, for those we care about. And in those cases, different skills are necessary, right? But learning to sense the spirit of time, what the Germans call the Zeitgeist, is also a very useful skill of seeing how what you know and what you have heard fits actually in the social, cultural, and historical, geographical location of your own specific circumstances. The next step is to understand that the world moves according to specific values. This is why we need to understand the spirit of time, and that these values usually do not change. They are quite the same. If at least in the Western world, we have very, very clear rules of how to conduct our lives. And the values themselves do not change. What changes is, and this is number 5, what changes is the position of the values within specific hierarchies of values. And this is a syntax promoted very strongly by Jordan Peterson, both in his books and in his numerous talks. So hierarchies of values refers to this concept, to this idea that values themselves do not change, but what changes is their position within the nomenclature, with the hierarchy of that specific, of very specific eras. For instance, let's take the commandment of do not kill. So do not kill others. But in times of war, killing the enemy becomes a virtue, because by killing your enemy, you actually protect your own people. So you see how values, the position of values, change within this hierarchy of values. So it's important to have this pre-work first, before starting to learn about this superpower, which is active listening, compassionate listening, non-judgmental listening, so that after when you start practicing, you don't do some big faux pas which might put you in danger or in awkward situations. So how to do it more practical, and now it's getting a little bit more practical, is, for instance, you can go to a coffee shop and start a conversation with a stranger. Or if the geography allows it, go to a park, to a theater, or to a museum and start a conversation with a stranger. When I was younger, I used to do that a lot. I was within my field work and my ethnographic research, I had to talk to a lot of people who very often were outside my immediate social circle. And I needed to learn to talk to strangers, me being kind of shy person from my nature, or introvert person. um, well, starting conversations with strangers, provided they are not dangerous. So that's why I suggest an open space, a public space, but at the same time, um, a space which allows you for having some sort of conversation, and then ask open questions without being creepy. Yeah? Without being creepy, ask open questions and listen while occasional nodding without thinking of an answer. Yeah? Ask them, you know, how do you like the movie? How have you seen if you're at cinema? How have you seen other movies? So without expecting anything in return, you just have a conversation with someone who happens, for instance, if you go to a cinema, before the cinema, or if you go to a coffee shop, so you do just ask, do you know this environment? Is there anything else you would like to, you might recommend to me? Pretend to be a stranger. It's not about lying or leading people on. It's just about practicing listening without without trying to make an impression, without trying to impress the others, without trying to gain something right on. You just practice talking, and you'll see that without any sort of commitment to meet later on or something, that people are actually very happy to talk to people who just listen. Yeah. And so while talking to that person or persons, like if you do it repeatedly, simply hear what the other person is telling you, and do your best to feel beneath of the words and their intonation. Try to imagine what they are telling you. Try to visualize what they are telling you, so that you move beneath the words and the expressions and the tone of voice. So so encourage the person to open up without being nosy or intrusive. Simply repeat once in a while their last sentence in your own words. So I hear you doing this, I hear you telling this, or the last 2-3 sentences in your own words, but avoiding your interpretation. So try to see what makes the person unique, memorable. Try to understand their strength, weaknesses, idiosyncrasies. So this is important. Yeah? So listen to them, repeat once in a while the last sentence in your own words, but without your interpretation, just and show that you listen. So it's important to learn to perceive and process things you hear from people you don't know, so and probably you'll never see again, without judgment. Yeah? Don't judge what they tell you, just listen. Just keep your mouth shut. Once in a while nod, without being creepy. Without being creepy. Once in a while repeat their last words, and just allow them to unfold their own flow. And what's important, yeah, refrain from talking about yourself and about giving some sort of advice, expressing some sort of value, judgment of value. Remember, this exercise is about learning to listen and thus acquiring a superpower. It's not about you getting really involved with that person. It's about learning to listen, and in a manner which encourages the other person to open up, but without being creepy or nosy or intrusive, or all these things which actually hinder us from connecting other people, because we fear they might use that information at some point against us. As I said, when I was younger, I used to do that much more than I do it now, because I needed the practice to learn to talk to people for my ethnographic research and field work. So I hope this helps. It has helped me tremendously as a practice, and I hope you find some insights into how to acquire the superpower of active, non-judgmental, compassionate listening to others. Thank you very much for listening to me today. Thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward to welcoming you very soon again. Love and peace to you all.